Um, I was gonna plan out what I was gonna say in this, but I decided to just free flow it, and I can't edit this, so it's just gonna be what it is. I don't know. I'm also talking about a topic that is I don't know, you can't just speak bullshit on it. And it's not that I'm gonna be speaking bullshit, but I'm just gonna be speaking my opinion, which can be bullshit sometimes. But I don't know. I really want to talk about and just talk through some ideas of I like this of releasing past traumas, releasing the negative energies and the low vibrational crap and the shadow parts of ourselves that get dragged with us into our present and into our futures, because we haven't released them. We haven't taken the time to release them. And I think during this time of quarantine and of lockdown, a lot of people are having some extra time on their hands where they're not just go, 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 go in their normal everyday lives. And they're not playing part to their typical escapism or, escapism. So anyways, I just want to kind of talk through some ideas on just what I've been going through in my head and what I've kind of seen some other people that I've been interacting with go through. And I think as a collective, we go through things that are very similar at similar times. Even if we feel very alone in our own experience, I think there's a lot of us who are going through a lot of the same things right now. So if you're actually watching this, first of all, that's dope. Hi, I'm Margot. And second of all, I hope this resonates and maybe provides some kind of at least connection and clarity and prompting of your own thought. Don't just take what I say, but prompt your own thoughts on your own healing and your own overcoming of past traumas. So I have this beautiful, lovely The Beginner's Guide to Crystals book. I have quite a few crystals that I like to use, but I also really like having a book where I can kind of flip through and get some information on them. So I flipped to clear quartz, which is beautiful. I actually don't have a clear quartz stone, and I'm just going to read what this is about, and I already know. It's going to talk about what I'm trying to talk about. So clear quartz, clarity, purification, and restoration. Why it's magic. Clear quartz can do it all. It's a great starter crystal because it is incredibly versatile and has wide-ranging benefits. This translucent mineral is full of light, transmuting negative energy and bathing you and its surroundings in positive energy. It is detoxifying, both physically and emotionally, and has the ability to clear any energy blockages and bring the body and mind to a balanced state. It's cleansing and energizing, creating an optimized foundation from which health can flourish. This all-around support stone is associated with the crown chakra. It will raise your consciousness and clear the path for higher awareness. It also amplifies the energy of other crystals it's around. Hell yeah, I love that. It's literally about clearing out negative, old energies, toxic, bad energies, and restoring good, pure, clear energies. And I think a lot of us, when you go through something traumatic, you go through something that was really ugly and bad, and then you kind of get through it and you push yourself through it. Once you get to the other side, it's very easy to get in the mentality of running, basically, and trying to keep up with feeling good and feeling like you have to go, 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 go in order to feel good and to stay afloat and to, keep going. Because you don't want all that stuff to catch up with you. You don't want it to drag you back. You feel like, if you're doing this, it probably feels to you like, at any moment you could lose it. At any moment you could go back to feeling the way you used to feel. You can get back dragged down into that negative energy. So you're running, you're trying to stay away from it. The first step, I think, to healing this negative energy, because you can't run from it. It's inside of you. You're running, but you're running with it. You're carrying it, whether or not you realize it. And you have to release it in order to really uplift yourself, and then you can just walk where you're trying to go peacefully and calmly and with pure intentions. And it's a lot easier to find the right path because you're not running from something. You're not just trying to get away. You're going towards things. And I think the first step, is to acknowledge that the energy is there within yourself. Acknowledge that the trauma happened. Acknowledge that the energy of that trauma, that negativity, that toxicity, the horrible bad feelings are still inside of you. That is step one. It's not something that's outside of you. It's not something in someone else's control. That's the beauty of this, is that, it's something in you. It's your energy. It's tied to you. So it's something that you have control over. You can release it. You can heal it. Acknowledge it. That's step one. Acknowledge that it still is with you, that it still exists. And this could be trauma that you've tried to heal through before, that you have healed through some of it before, but you just are having to go through deeper and deeper cycles of healing. I find that a lot for myself, is that, you think you've healed something and you think you're kind of past it, and then you kind of feel it like regurgitate itself in a deeper way, and you're like, wow, I didn't know it was going to get that deep. But it does sometimes, and that's okay. So don't feel fearful that this stuff, if you release it, you release it. There might still be stuff that's kind of tied deeper, and you'll get to that when you get to that, But during this time where things are slower, you're having more time to yourself, to your thoughts, to your experience. You're having to be a little more attentive to the quiet sides of your mind. Start listening. Start really paying attention. Start hearing yourself. Start feeling yourself. Start knowing, what are you actually going through? When you're not just caught up in the day-to-day, going and going and going, doing what you're always doing, if you're not caught up in the bullshit, in the escapes, if you're not just distracting yourself, if you're actually here, how are you? Check in with yourself. How are you? How are you actually? And that's going to be a complicated answer because we're complicated beings. And so there's going to be a lot. And make sure to focus on, when you are trying to work through and heal through something, make sure to ground yourself in what is beautiful and pure and still good. Make sure you acknowledge, where the light is that's in you, because that's what you're wanting to expand the good, and you're wanting to, diminish and release the bad. You're not wanting to shove the bad down and make it hide and go away. No, you have to face it. You have to face your traumas. You have to face your fears. You have to face the negative energy that is within yourself, your own being. And if you're not facing it in an internal kind of way, then life's going to make you face it in an external kind of way. If you have a lot of negative energy that's deeply rooted in yourself, it's going to be attracting things like it. And so you're going to start finding things in your external world that are less than favorable. You're going to start experiencing things that you don't want to experience, and you don't understand why things are happening the way they're happening, why you're having to go through this, why you're not getting it. Well, if you're not healing the energy within yourself, if you're just trying to run and just focus on, the good things and ignore all the bad things and just keep going to the good things, and then if you just focus on the good things as hard as you can, then the bad stuff's just going to go away. That's not how it works. in order to heal from the bad stuff, in order to really release it and let it go, you have to first dig it up and hold it. You have to be able to hold your trauma, hold your fears in your hands. You know, you have to acknowledge them. You have to see them as a part of you, but a part of you that doesn't need to be a part of you if you don't want it to be. Which gets tricky because, so once you acknowledge that it's there and you kind of spend some time figuring out what it is, you know, because trauma and past pain, toxic energy and stuff can stem from a lot of different things. Things can compound on each other, especially if you haven't dealt with it in a while and it's been coming back up or coming up in your external experiences, and just you're reliving the same trauma just in different packaging, basically. Then you're going to have a lot of stuff stacked on top of each other, and so it's going to be kind of harder to find that, what is the source of this, what's the main point of this. And maybe you can't, you know, because for a lot of us, the traumas that we experience and the bad energies and stuff that we experience will go all the way back to childhood and to times that you can't really remember. So that gets tricky, because it's like, how am I supposed to heal from something I don't remember? But you don't necessarily have to grasp the tangible details of the stem. I think you can reach kind of the core if you find that linking piece. And then you can kind of heal from, you know, out into experiences that you do remember and are more recent. And you can kind of do this compounded, stacked upon healing, and you can heal down into things that you don't necessarily remember, but you're still able to do the healing, and you're still able to drag it up if you find that angle, that point, that line that connects all of it. Also, though, we are complex beings and we experience a lot of different traumas, a lot of different toxic experiences, and you might have a couple of different, you know, main things that you're having to heal through. So it might not just be one thing, it might be a couple of different things. But go through it, spend time holding these traumas, holding this bad negative energy that's inside yourself, and start understanding it. You know, before you work on releasing it, before you can let it go, you have to know what it is, and you have to make sure that you're holding all of it, and that you're holding it in the right ways, and that, you know, you really are allowing it to fully be brought out of you. Because you might know of some of your trauma, some of your bad experience, but if you spend time with it and you really think about it and you really analyze it and you really are sitting with it and mulling over it, and that can be hard, obviously, because there's some reliving that happens with that. But a beauty in that, and in healing from this stuff, there is a little bit of desensitization, some realization that, okay, yes, these are experiences that I went through, but they don't define me, and I don't have to fear them. You don't have to fear your trauma. You don't have to fear the bad, negative feelings inside of you. You fear them, then that just stacks on top of them and just makes it fester and grow. If you don't fear them, if you're willing to hold them and look at them and analyze them and realize all the different ways that it's within you and around you and how it's impacting you, if you're really gathering it, you're really understanding it. So let's say you have, you know, one main, that's like so unlikely. Let's say you have like two main things, right? Like two main negative energy points. And, you know, you've been living with them for years, so they're kind of complicated. There's a lot of different stuff going on with them, but you do the analysis, okay? And you understand kind of where they came from, what they've been doing. If you have fear over them, that like breakthrough of breaking through, fearing the fact that they even happened, is massive. But once you do that and you're able to really look at them and you're able to really recognize them for what they are, and that they are separate from you and that you can release them, then there is that like sense of desensitization, because it's like, oh, this doesn't have power over me. I don't have to fear paying attention to it because it doesn't control me. You know, I control it. And if I put my attention on it and I put my mind power on it and I'm focusing on understanding it, it has no chance. And once you understand it, and once you start going through the process of understanding it, you also will start kind of understanding and seeing some of the healing nodes that start appearing, healing options. You start really realizing, as you're understanding where this trauma came from and what it is, you start realizing that it makes no sense that you're still holding on to it, that it makes no sense that it's still affecting you now. And you start really realizing, oh, okay, so first of all, okay, yeah, some bad shit has happened to me. Okay. Yep, I, didn't acknowledge it before. I let it fester. I let it kind of run its course a bit on certain aspects of my life. And now, there's some complications with it. Okay. But now I'm here and now I understand. I'm gaining clarity and I'm holding it and I'm understanding it. And through it, I'm gaining a bigger, grander perspective and understanding of myself with it and away from it. What your life looks like when you're holding on to it, how it impacts you, what it does, and what would your life look like if you weren't holding on to it? And if that stuff wasn't impacting you, and if you do the analysis and you do the understanding of it, you can grasp that. While you're still holding on to it, you still haven't figured out how to release it yet, but you can grasp, what would I feel like if I wasn't holding this? What would my life look like if I wasn't holding this? And then that's the seedling, the beginning of the fissure of separation, the beginning of the release, is recognizing and realizing holding on to this was a choice, not one that I thought I was making, not one I would have made with conscious effort, but it is a choice. And there is a me that exists without this. There is my life, a view, a version of my life that exists unobstructed from this negative energy. A life that exists, without being poisoned by the poison that you've been holding inside yourself. So a lot of our external issues and problems that we go through, the repetitive cycles that we continuously have to experience, and sometimes it does take multiple times of you experiencing a repetitive cycle for you to actually recognize, oh, something's going on here, something's wrong here. Because sometimes the first wraparound comes and you don't really realize even that something bad happened or there was trauma, but it'll keep coming back and it'll keep showing itself. Life will try to show you what's inside yourself. This is what you're drawing, this is what you're attracting, this is what's up. And if you start catching on, then you can stop it. You can find that and gather the problem, the root of the problem, and you can eradicate it from your life. Once you find it and once you hold on to it, once you realize that you can release it, releasing it is the easiest step. That's the last step. It's just, you just let go. But you can't do that if you don't do all the work before. It's not like you can just release your trauma. Like, it takes a lot of work, but the release part really truly is, you just drop it. You realize that you've been the one who's been holding on to this. You realize what it is. You realize how it affects everything. You realize how it affects you. And you gather it all together and you hold it all. And then you just fucking drop it. And you breathe deeper. And you feel lighter. And you realize you don't have to be running to feel okay. You don't have to be moving constantly to feel okay. You can sit very calmly in the present moment, and with that stuff cleared out, it's not just poisoning you from the inside out. Because if you were just sitting, you would just feel like you were being eaten alive or suffocated or whatever. And so you had to be moving, you had to be going. But you get that stuff out, you heal that stuff, and you're left just with your pure light and your honest, true self, which I also really want to do a video on some of the thoughts I've been having about individuality and authenticity and being yourself. But anyways, yeah, you get to truly be in the present moment. You get to truly see who you are. You get to see and feel what it feels like to be yourself without all that baggage, man. Everyone's carrying around so much baggage, and they just don't realize that they can let it go because they don't realize that it's there. Anyways, I think I'm done. If you watch this till the end, holy crap, let me know. That's crazy. Why would anybody watch this? I don't know. I'm just doing this because I need to get my thoughts out there somehow, in some way. So, ugh.